Hare Krishna. Please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. Never miss any updates.
Hare Krishna. So I am back with one more interesting chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is a chapter number 16 entitled Divine and Demonic Nature. So let us start with pranam mantras. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री श्री राधा गोविंद की जय, श्री श्री निताय गौरंग की जय, श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा स्वामी की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So Krishna in this chapter is explaining about two varieties of people. One variety of people are with divine qualities and one more is with demonic qualities. And both these divine and demonic qualities people, they always exist in this world. Since the beginning of creation, both the qualities of people, both the nature of people always exist. So it is said that in Satyuga, the divine and demonic people, they used to stay in different planets. In Treta Yuga, they were in the same planet but different country. In Dwapar Yuga, they were in the same family, and in Kali Yuga, both the qualities, both the nature are there inside everyone. So for example, in Satyuga, Hiranyakashipu was in a different planet and all the demigods were in a different planet. In Treta Yuga, Rama and Ravana both are in the same planet but different country. In Dwapar Yuga, the divine and demonic people were in the same family, like Pandavas and Kauravas, in the same family. And in Kali Yuga, both divine and demonic nature is there within all of us. Everybody has this two nature. One is divine and one is demonic. So Krishna in this chapter is explaining some divine qualities and some demonic qualities, and in the conclusion he says we should always put our efforts to achieve these divine qualities. So this 16th chapter is again divided into three sections. The first one is verse number 1st to 6th, which explains about some divine qualities. Especially Krishna explains 24 divine qualities, and also he mentions some of the demonic qualities. In the second section, Krishna explains about demonic qualities in detail, and in the final conclusion, Krishna says that how one can escape from the demonic qualities, demonic nature. So verse number 1st, 2nd and 3rd, Krishna is explaining about 24 divine qualities. So he says fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, study determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These are the 24 qualities Krishna mentions in the first 3 verses of Bhagavad Gita. And then Krishna also mentioned 6 demoniac qualities. So he says pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness and ignorance. These qualities belongs to those of demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. And then in the next verse Krishna explains what is the result of acquiring divine or demoniac qualities. So Krishna says divine qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with divine qualities. So Krishna is also giving some sort of relief to Arjuna, because Arjuna may worry that why Krishna is explaining demonic qualities to me. Is that I am possessing some demonic qualities? So Krishna is saying, no, you are born with divine qualities because you are born in a family of Pandu, who is a great devotee. So you all brothers are great devotees and you have all good qualities. So in Srimad Bhagavatam it is said that Harava Bhaktasya Kuto Mahadgunan. There will be no good qualities in a non-devotee of the Supreme Lord. But devotees of the Supreme Lord, they possess all good qualities. By nature they possess all good qualities. So that's why Krishna is giving assurance to Arjuna that you are born with divine qualities, do not worry. And then Krishna further explains what these demoniac people they do. Pravratim cha nivratim cha janana vidura suraha na shocham napi chacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. So Krishna is very clearly explaining the people, those who are of demoniac nature, they does not know what has to be done and what should not be done. They will be simply going as per their impulse. There are impulses in the senses. There are urges of the senses. So all the senses are demanding something for enjoyment. So they don't even know that they should perform this act or they should not perform this act. Then in the next section, Krishna elaborately explains what is the thinking of the people with demoniac nature. If a person has demoniac nature, demoniac qualities, what is his thinking? What he is thinking inside? So Krishna says, they say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control, Anishwaram, Jagadahur Anishwaram. They say it is produce of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So that these demoniac people, they always try to defy God. They say there is no Ishvara. There is nobody who is in control. I am the controller. And they also claim that I am Ishvara, I am God. This is called demoniac quality. And they also say that this whole world is produce of sex desire. There is no other cause other than the lust. So they think a child is born just because of the sex desire of father and mother. But that is not real. There are many other factors. So there is a difference between love and lust. It is not that both are same. Generally we say love at first sight. Correct? As soon as you see a girl and a boy will start loving. Love at first sight. But what is the next line? The next line is divorce or breakup at first fight. This is not the real love. It is just a lust. It is not love. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is one very nice beautiful verse which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. He says, Krishnendriya Preeti Ichha Dhare Prema Naam, Atmendriya Preeti Vansha Dhare Bali Kam. So he says, the desire to gratify one's own senses is called as kama or lust. But the desire to please Krishna's senses is called as prema. Krishnendriya Tripti Vansha Kare. If somebody is desiring to gratify the senses of Lord Krishna or satisfy Lord Krishna, that is called as love. And Atmendriya Preeti Vansha Kare, it means if somebody is working very hard, struggling very hard to gratify his own senses, that is called as lust or kama. So this is a difference between lust and love. In this world, no love exists, it is only lust. Love actually exists in the spiritual world. And this lust which is there in this world is just a reflection of the spiritual world. That's what we understood in the 15th chapter. Urdhva Moola Adha Shaka. There is a banyan tree which is downward. Okay, so same love which is there in the spiritual world is found in this world as a lust. And then Krishna further explains that the people of demonic nature, they always engage in horrible work just to destroy the world. So these people, they may create something which can actually destroy the world. Prabhupada gives an example of atomic bombs, nuclear weapons. See, anyway people are dying. It's not that people will not die. Everybody is destined to die. But scientists are creating something which is accelerating the death. So scientists are creating something which can increase the number of deaths. Nuclear weapon. Let's say just imagine a small war happens and somebody releases a nuclear weapon. What will happen? Everything will get destroyed. So the demoniac people, they don't create something useful for the people. They actually create something which can destroy the whole world. And they also believe that gratifying the senses is a prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of their life, they will be full of anxiety, bound by a network of hundreds and thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger. They secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. See, the people of demoniac nature will always have this feeling inside that I should gratify my senses, I should satisfy myself. And they may acquire money by illegal means. Now, what is this illegal means? If let's say a person who is very hardworking, he is doing a business with a proper conduct, he is not doing a 2-number business, with a proper conduct, honesty, he is earning his livelihood. Now, can it be told as illegal means of earning money? Yes, that also may be illegal way of earning money. Actually, what our scriptures say, everything belongs to the Supreme Lord, especially money, because money is called as Lakshmi. Lakshmi is a wife of Narayana. Now, the whole world, they want to keep Lakshmi with them. This is called Ravana mentality. What Ravana wanted to do? Ravana kidnapped Mother Sita, who is actually Lakshmi. She is Lakshmi herself. So Ravana kidnapped Mother Sita and took her to the Lanka so that he can enjoy. This is a mentality of Ravana, Ravana mentality. But what is a mentality of a devotee? A devotee always offers everything to the Supreme Lord, because he knows very well that nothing belongs to me, everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. So once there was 4 thieves. So they basically went to a big jeweler's shop, they looted everything and they ran inside a forest, and then when they saw that nobody is following us and we are safe, they actually stopped in middle of the forest and they started dividing the money. So 4 thieves were there, and one of them, he told, see, all the money and jewelry should be divided honestly. See, he is a thief. The money is looted by them. This money also belongs to somebody else. And now he is claiming it should be divided honestly. This is what the whole world is doing. We have already looted money from Krishna. It all belongs to Narayana. This Lakshmi actually belongs to Narayana. Now we have actually taken the Lakshmi from the Narayana. Now we want to divide this Lakshmi honestly. So this is also called as a illegal means of earning money. So then further Krishna explains that even the people with demoniac nature may also perform some kind of rituals, some kind of yagna, homa or some tapasya. They may also perform some sacrifice. But it is on the namesake only. It is not for the real advancement, spiritual advancement. For example, Hiranyakashipu, he was a great devotee of Lord Brahma. He did lot of tapasya. But what is his wish? His wish is, I should not die. Even Ravana was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. Still he is considered as a demon. You will never find Ravana is called as devotee. He is considered as a demon or Rakshasa. Why? Because he was against Lord Vishnu. He was against Lord Rama. So they may also perform many varieties of tapasya and austerities. But it is on the namesake only. Then Krishna further explains that bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And because of this enmity, they say there is no Ishvara, I am the only Lord. Why Krishna, Rama, Vishnu is God? I am the God. Everybody is God. There are some classes of people, some philosophers, they say everybody is God. Actually, they are envious of God. That's why they are saying everybody is God. They want to defy the supremacy of Lord Vishnu. And because of this particular nature, what exactly happens? Krishna is saying they will go down into hellish condition of life, attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demoniac life. O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. There are 84 lakh species which is mentioned in the scriptures. Jalaja Navalakshani Sthavara Lakshavimshati. There are 9 lakh aquatics in the water, living entities. Sthavara Lakshavimshati. 20 lakh varieties of species are there which are sthavara, which are non-moving, just like plants, trees and even the mountains. Like this, there are 84 lakh species, and the people with demoniac nature will actually sink down to the lower species of life. And then Krishna, a very, very important shloka, he says, there are 3 gateways to hell. There are 3 ways if you want to go to hell, you can choose. There are 3 gateways to hell. What are they? Trividham narake syedam dwaram nashanam atmanah kamha krodhas tatha lobhas tasmad etam trayam tajed. He is saying to Arjuna, trayam tajed, every sane man should give this up. What are these 3 gateways to hell? He is saying kama, lust, anger and greed. Kama, krodha and lobha. These are the 3 gateways to hell. One should never have this. These are the 3 very nasty qualities. If these 3 qualities are there, a person can do any nonsense to the world. Any nonsense he can perform. So sometimes we may find even the devotees of the Lord, they may have these qualities. But there is a difference between devotees and demon. Devotee, he utilizes everything for the Krishna's service. For example, you may find devotees also may have lot of desire. Desire is actually called as kama, intense desire. Let's say a devotee may have a desire that I want to build a big temple for Krishna. Just like we used to have a desire like this, that we want a big temple for Lakshmi Narasimha. We want a golden temple for Lakshmi Narasimha. So we have utilized the same desire, the quality for Krishna's service. And a devotee may also have anger. Sometimes a devotee may express anger, but it is not for personal sake, it is for the service of the Supreme Lord. For example, Hanuman, when he went to Lanka to see Mother Sita, he was caught by the soldiers of Ravana. And there was a conversation where Ravana became very angry and he immediately ordered that burn his tail. Then immediately all the soldiers, they came together and they burnt the tail of Hanuman. What Hanuman did? Hanuman also became very angry. How can you say Rama is not God? How can you defy Rama's position? And he started burning whole Lanka. See, can you burn something without anger? Hanuman was so much into fire, he was so much into anger that he burned whole Lanka except 2 locations. See, although he is into anger, but still he is very, very conscious. It's not that he started burning, he burnt whole Lanka. No, except 2 locations, he burnt everything. The first one is Ashoka Vatika, where Mother Sita is there. And second location is Vibhishana's house. He knew very well that Vibhishana is a devotee of Lord Rama. So he did not do anything harm. See, although he is in anger, still his anger is regulated and he is very, very conscious what he has to do. Not that in anger he burnt everything and later he realized, Ayo, Mother Sita. No, not like this. He is very conscious that what he has to do, what he should not do. He is very, very conscious, even at the time of anger. Even if you see the Arjuna's position, can he kill all the people, all the Kauravas without anger? Not possible. He has actually expressed his anger for the service of the Supreme Lord. Okay? And then finally greed. So even devotees can be greedy for something. And what exactly is their greed? The devotees are always greedy for the service of the Supreme Lord. They are always greedy for Krishna consciousness. So Rupa Goswami, he says, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi. That if you want this Krishna Bhakti, which is Rasa Bhavita Matihi, which is full of mellows, full of juice, it is not dry. It is full of juice and taste. It is full of mellows. How to get it? You have to pay something. Isn't it? If you want to purchase something, kriyatam api kuto abhilabhyate. If you want to purchase kriyatam, anywhere if it is available, immediately purchase. But what is the mulya? What is the price which you have to pay? So Rupa Goswami says, Ekam mulyam tatra lolyam. There is only one mulya, there is only one price which you have to pay, and that is called as lolyam. That is called as intense greed and desire. If you are greedy to take Krishna consciousness, you will immediately get it. But if somebody is not greedy, not having a desire to become Krishna conscious, he will never become Krishna conscious even after hundreds and thousands of lives. So this is the difference between devotee and demons. Devotee, he utilizes everything for the service of the Lord, and demon, he utilizes all these qualities, bad qualities, demonic qualities to destroy the world. And while utilizing all these qualities, the demonic people, they don't even think what is good for the others and what is not good for them. He doesn't even think that there is something unfortunate I am doing. So that's why what our scriptures they advise, that if you want Shubha Mangal in your life, if you want auspiciousness in your life, then one has to be very, very careful. Jada Savdhan. Because nowadays, there is no culture basically. Earlier days, at least there used to be some culture. There used to be relation between only man and woman. But nowadays, it is been advertised in such a way that a relation between man and man is also okay, woman and woman is also okay. And many, many movies are coming. All of you know about it. So what scriptures are saying, they say if you want auspiciousness in life, Shubh and Mangal in your life, you should be Jada Savdhan, you should be very, very extra careful. Okay? Don't, that's why these lusty desires are very, very powerful. If you have lust, anger will automatically come, greed also will automatically follow. So the seed of all these demonic qualities is lust, kama. So we have to stop at the kama level itself. Then in the final conclusion, Krishna explains that these people of demonic nature, what exactly they do, they don't follow any spiritual injunctions or regulations given by the scriptures. They discard everything in dustbin. So he who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So Krishna in the conclusion he is saying that therefore one should understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures, knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated to Krishna consciousness. So the final goal of our life is to attain these divine qualities by following the scriptural injunctions. Just like we all know, there are 4 regulatory principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. So if we follow these 4 regulatory principles, you will find all divine qualities are developing inside you. And also at the same time, we have to read scriptures, take the association of devotees, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then become successful, perfect in your endeavors of becoming Krishna conscious. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.